All right, welcome back. Pitt took one badly last night. Couldn't score a touchdown against a team that had the worst pass defense the last 2 years in football. They didn't even attempt to go there. Does that mean they're afraid to let Phil Jurkovec do what he's supposed to do? So, Jason, what is the deal with that, and why did, listen, there are a lot of components to this. The offensive line's been bad. He's been hit. Wide receivers can't get open. I get all of that. Yeah. But he's a 23-year-old, sixth-year guy. And yet, we didn't see anything that made you think he was going to have command of that game. Why did Pat Narduzzi choose to keep him in the entire game?
I have no idea, Pump. I wish I had a good answer for that because I was wondering that myself. It was not getting the job done, and it's nothing personal against Phil Jurkovec. Christian Veillere, I believe is how you say the kid's name. Why not give him a chance?
Plus, it says air in his name. He could actually air
whatever.
the ball down the field.
I don't care what his name is. Put him in there. Like, the passing game was nowhere near good enough. And try something else. Is it stubbornness? I don't know.
I call it arrogance. That's the way I look at it, right?
I mean how can you be arrogant with something that's not working?
This is the guy they wanted, brought him in through the portal, and they had him earmarked as the #1 forever. And why would you yank him after 2 games? And I thought it was just a terrible look for what he said to that reporter. Who was it? Noah House? Where he said, yeah, who am I going to put in? You?
Yeah.
Totally
a worse comment came from a West Virginia secondary member who made one of the 3 interceptions. He says, yeah, we knew going in this quarterback wasn't very good, not doing his job. So if they know it.
Bob, I think it's an embarrassing look for the program all around. And I don't say that lightly because I have a lot of respect for Pat Narduzzi. The way he's allowed for a former 5-star athlete who went to Pine Richland and set all kinds of records, who's been frankly bad his last 2 years playing college football, he's acting like the players above the team. Two episodes. Mm-hmm. The guy comes out and basically rips your fans, which last I checked, they don't get 68,000 people a game there. So you allow him to get away with that. And then number 2, he's such an embarrassment in this game, he blows off and doesn't take accountability for afterwards and says, I'm not going to talk to the press. Now, fans might have a different perspective on that. But if I'm his teammate, it's like, I don't want to answer for your mistakes.
Right.
If you're a leader on this team, you go out there.
That's not optional for a quarterback.
And you tell us that you were bad. And the fact that Pat Narduzzi, who, again, I respect, is allowing for him to get away with all that, to me, that goes against everything he stands for as a head coach. It's an embarrassment for Pitt right now. They've got to bench him.
It's the first time I've looked at Pitt and almost been like disappointed or confused by the culture. And it's kind of what you're saying, Andrew. Like, I think win or lose, they lose some stupid games, but like you can kind of see what they're doing. There's some morality built in there or whatever.
Just look at they talked about, and I agree with this, the announcers talking about body language.
Yes.
Nobody was around him. He seemed like if you're a leader, you're going to be more active in that. You saw that kid from West Virginia who came into the game, Mark, and he seemed like he had more command. So what's that all about for someone who's been in this for 6 years?
Well, I guess when you don't have success, that's potentially it. But, I mean, the whole point of you, Pony, saying that it's probably true. The fans probably look at it differently of talking to the media than we do. However, if I'm one of those players, I'm thinking, dude, you stink. You should go up there and take it like I take it too as well. And I think it's a terrible look for a Division I quarterback.
Well, forget that. How about the fans comment from the week before? You're telling somebody who bought a ticket they can't respectfully boo? I don't think so, buddy.
Pat Narduzzi has built a pretty good program on the idea that one player isn't above everybody else. He hasn't kowtowed to 5-star guys. He doesn't talk about NIL and all of this stuff. He's trying to build a blue-collar football program, and to allow for Jurkovec to act this way is just ridiculous. It's so immature, it disgusts me.
I have 15 seconds. Does he start against North Carolina? Yes or no?
Yes,
I think he does.
Starts, yes.
Absolutely,
yes.
And this is a 5-win team waiting to happen.
I disagree. I think he's going to come to realization that he has to make a change.
I think the change comes in game, but I think he's
still starts. You got the whole ACC schedule in front of you. You still got everything in front of you. You should make the change. He won't.
Okay, we got to go to break on that note. When we come back, Mike Babcock. Boy, that happened fast. He signs to be the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's out. We're going to talk about privacy issues and the Pirates' expectations for 2024 next.